to the Scream Queens Horror Movie Road Trip Podcast! Hey, I'm so excited. But first let's introduce ourselves. That's how excited I am. I'm your
Soul survivor.
Final girl? No, I'm not the final girl. I'm your soul survivor, Mr. Josh. And here with me, of course,
I'm your final girl, Justine. And like Josh said, we're super excited.
we are on our way to New Orleans right now. We're in the middle of a big road trip. Ultimately, we're heading to Disney World. But first stop, New Orleans.
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to have some jambalaya.
Some beignets.
Oh, for sure.
Lots of nice Creole food.
I'm gonna have to take some walk on the Mississippi, on the banks of the Mississippi.
So, of course, we're going to Louisiana. Well, we're in Louisiana right now, but we're heading to New Orleans. Can't go to New Orleans without thinking about Interview with a Vampire.
So I guess that's what we're doing.
Episode number 9, Interview with a Vampire.
Woo! I'm really excited to talk about it.
Yeah, it's a really fun movie. I've been a fan for a while.
I've been a fan for a while since birth, but maybe
But now.
now. Okay, so dive right in.
We're always diving. Maybe can we jump on in or
Leap on in, drive right in.
drive right in? All right,
Okay.
let's drive in.
Well, let's just start off by saying it's Interview with the Vampire.
Directed by Neil Jordan.
Yes.
Crying Game fame.
1994. Bringing it back, y'all.
Bring it back to the 90s.
And it's based on the novel by Anne Rice,
Yeah.
and then she also wrote the screenplay with Neil. Neil wrote some of it, so.
Well, she's the only one that gets credit.
I know, but there's a lot of mention. He even mentions in the commentary things that he wrote. So.
Maybe he's just being a shady bitch and taking,
It
shit
got
away
2
from her.
Oscar nominations.
It did. What? Do you remember what for?
Makeup and something else.
Oh, girl, if you don't know, don't bring it up. Anyways,
Wow.
okay.
You are throwing some massive shade.
Some shade. I'm making it shady, making it cool.
But it did sweep the Academy of Sci-Fi, Fantasy, and Horror Films.
Oh.
It got a lot of Saturn Awards. And
That's all
I didn't
that
write
matters.
that. Yeah, that's what really matters.
That's all that matters. Alright, so Interview with the Vampire, even though we're heading to New Orleans, starts in San Francisco
Yeah.
modern times.
Circa 1994.
Yeah, circa 1994.
Mm-hmm.
And who do we see, Justine? Who's there?
Oh, well, there's a vampire
Yeah.
named Louis who has asked for a interviewer to interview him, and he wants to tell him, hey, I'm a vampire.
He's like, hey, Christian Bale, I have a story.
No, it's Christian Slater.
Oh, not Christian Bale. Duh.
Before you got too far.
Yeah, it's the 90s. So
Yeah.
Christian Slater, he's like, hey, Christian Slater, I need to tell you a really cool story about my life.
I just happen to be a vampire, and he's like, no, you're not.
He's like, oh, bullshit.
And then he does some vampire magic.
Yeah, he moves really fast across the room.
And it blows his mind.
Yeah.
He's like, you must be a vampire.
He's like, you move fast. You must be a vampire.
There's only one thing that moves fast in this world, and it's a vampire.
You were there, and now you're here. Really fast.
But basically, the opening scene is like, hey, I'm Louis. I want to tell you my story. I'm 200 years old.
And really sad. I'm 200
Always
years old
so
and sad. Poor sad Brad Pitt.
He is. Yeah, it's Brad Pitt who plays Louis.
Poor sad vampire Brad Pitt.
Oh, feel so sorry for him. Rub my eyes, little cry baby.
This is like the beginning of emo vampires, okay?
My goodness.
Which I'm not going to blame this movie for Twilight. but
I mean, we might wonder, if not for Interview with the Vampire, would there ultimately have been? Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
We digress.
So he was like, hey, back in the late 1700s, I was a sad human.
Yeah. I've kind of always been sad.
He's like, my wife and child have died, and I've just been moping about for a few years about it.
I mean, again, even though we haven't seen a child die.
Oh, gosh, don't even. Where are you going with this?
We just can't see. We are just like,
where are you
dead
going?
kids. We're always
talking about
dead kids.
help it.
I know. Okay, Louis has a death wish.
Yeah, he's like, I just don't want to live. And it's like a bad signal for another vampire named Lestat. Lestat's like, oh, there's a really pretty human that wants to die. Let me go check him out.
I'm gonna go look at him and see what. Yeah, and then he's like, oh, he's like wealthy and pretty good looking. Yeah. I need a companion.
So Lestat's played by Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
How did I mess up Tom Cruise? Tim Cruise. Oh my gosh. Anyways, we've been driving for 6 hours.
Yeah, already. So I guess it's gotten to your brain a little bit. Yeah. Tom Cruise plays Lestat. And Lestat, we don't even know how old this guy is.
Lestat's like just a fun vampire. He's like that guy in high school you weren't supposed to hang out with, but you did. You always got in trouble.
Oh yeah, and he was always like coaxing you into doing, the things that you really shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, okay, Lestat, yeah, I'll go to the football game and eat some rats with you or whatever. Did that happen in your high school?
Oh, yeah, at my high school it totally happened. Anyways, yeah, Lestat follows Louis and basically kind of Louis being attacked, but then he attacks them, and then he attacks Louis.
One of the L characters, Louis, doesn't he have a girl with him?
Yeah, he's like, he's maybe having some
sexual relations.
Yes, some relations.
And Lestat attacks him. Yeah, attacks the girl, then attacks him. And a really cool scene where he takes him up that ship, and they're flying in the air, and then he drops them into the Mississippi River.
Well, he gave him a bite.
Yeah, he bites him on the neck.
He was like, and then
he's like, I'm gonna give you a little hickey.
Well, then the next morning, though, Louis coming out of the Mississippi, onto his plantation. Yeah. He's like, oh my god.
He's like, oh man.
I swam for a couple of hours.
That was a rough night.
It was.
So he goes home.
And gets sick.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh, poor Louis. He was sad. Yeah, he was sad. Now he's sick and sad.
Oh no. We feel so sad for our master. And then that next night, Lestat comes back to kind of finish the job.
A visitor comes a knocking, and he's like, hey, you want to be immortal? You want to be me? You want to be my companion?
Yeah, and Louis is just kind of like, oh.
I'm sad.
I'm still so sad. But yes, yeah.
Bite my neck.
He goes to a swamp and watches his last sunrise. Yeah, his last sunrise, because he, I guess, won't be able to see it no more being a vampire.
That's right.
And then he gets he goes through with it. And the transformation scene in the cemetery.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's fun.
Yes. I like it a lot.
Lestat finishes the job. Louis becomes a vampire.
Yeah, so now we have Lestat and Louis and their companions and their vampire buddies or whatever, except that Louis is still super emotional. The guy can't really
He's now I'm in a homoerotic relationship and I'm really sad still.
And I'm really sad, and now I guess I didn't get the memo about being a vampire. I'm gonna have to kill people in order to
So Louis feeds off rats and rodents and other nasty creatures, little critters.
Yeah, because he just can't kill
He just can't even.
Yeah. And then there's a really cool slave revolt scene that happens.
Yeah, all the slaves on this plantation are like, okay, something is up. Master, people are dying, people are showing up dead.
Mm-hmm. You guys are never eating at dinner.
Yeah.
You'll sit and have a conversation, but you don't ever touch your food.
So they're talking amongst themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they know something's up. They know there's evil involved. They're doing some voodoo spells. They're doing a little ceremony trying to ward off the evil. But it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work at all. In fact, Tandy Newton is one of the slave girls that works in the house, and she's telling her, Louis, Brad Pitt, what's going on? We care so much about you, and are you even our master anymore?
Yeah.
And then he ends up killing her.
She even says I'm afraid. Everybody's afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's dead.
So he kills her, and then he burns down his house.
He's like, oh my gosh, I can't deal. Let's just set the place on fire.
I cannot deal. And who shows up? Lestat. He's super pissed. The house is burnt down because now he's what are we gonna do? Where are we gonna live?
Yeah, he's very materialistic, that Lestat. He was like, hey, we had a good thing going here. We lived in this big mansion with servants. We were rich.
Yeah.
You're hot. What are we doing?
You're hot. Yeah, so now we got to go live in this apartment.
Yeah, now we're going to flee to the French Quarter, where we're going to be staying tonight.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's where we're staying at, in the French Quarter. Just like Louis and Lestat.
So there's some cool scenes, showing, recreations of the French Quarter at like the turn of the 19th century, into the, that time period. It's really cool to see.
How like steamboat ships are replacing like this sailboat ships like before, and all that, and obviously pointing out that time's going.
Yeah. But they're staying the same age.
Yeah, but they still look the same. They still look like Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt with veins on their faces.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Look, we're pale and we have veins on our faces, which were apparently painted on and took hours to do. Oh, tell the funny anecdote about that, how they drew the veins on.
Oh my God, yeah, they hung them upside down. Yeah, they had to be...
Oopsie poopsie. Some a-hole tried to call us while we're podcasting. They must not even know us.
That's ignorant, right?
That is so ignorant.
So ignorant. Anyway, so Louis and Lestat are in an apartment, and they have some lady sexual workers come over.
Oh, yes. This is like a scene that really is disturbing. It's like we said, they're in the French Quarter now. It's the turn of the century, that 19th century, so early 1800s, late 1700s, I think.
Yes.
Still, yeah,
you're getting it.
I got it right.
But there's the scene where Louis and Lestat are in the apartment with these whores, and
sex workers, Justine.
And they kill them, but they kind of play cat and mouse with one of them.
Yeah, they kind of let one of them know they're trying to kill them.
It's
sad. That they're gonna die. And it's really disturbing and gruesome. They're cutting her breasts and cutting her wrists, and
it's all Lestat that's doing it, and he's poking fun at Louis, who's still
sad.
He just can't deal with the fact that he's a vampire now. But yeah, that's a really gross and kind of uncomfortable scene, because she's gonna die.
Yeah, and
she eventually knows she's gonna die, and she's begging for a priest to come.
Yeah, she's pleading for her life, and she's a really good actress, whoever played that bit part. I feel the fear.
Thank you so much for your performance.
Whoever you are.
It was awesome. And then, the next thing that kind of happens to them is they decide that, or Lestat kind of decides for the both of them, but...
Yeah, Lestat's definitely an A-type.
Yeah.
Whereas Louis is an F-type. This one.
Yeah.
He's just I'm sad.
Louis finally, goes into this area of the, French Quarter. I guess that's plague-ridden or whatever.
Yes, because there's a guy saying, turn, go the other way, the plague is in this street.
Yeah.
Neighborhood.
And he finds a little girl who is just holding her dead mother's hand.
And she keeps saying to herself, I'm Kirsten Dunst. I'm Kirsten Dunst.
Yes,
it is Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst.
She's I'm a little girl.
So Louis kind of loses it, and he ends up biting her and almost drains her, but then leaves her there until Lestat takes an opportunity to again
finish the job,
make Louis stay.
So now they have little baby vampire girl.
Yeah.
Little,
so they're
little baby vampire Dunst. Little baby Dunst. Hashtag baby Dunst.
But then there's a montage, basically, of
they become a happy family.
The happy vampire family, except that they, are constantly killing people.
She's my two vampire dads.
And she's uncontrollable. She is always losing it. And
she's killing people when she gets pissed off at them. I mean, I might do the same thing if I had vampire powers. I'm oh yeah.
And she gets super upset that she's never gonna have boobs.
It's tits and ass.
Yeah, she's never gonna have those things, and she gets really upset and has a quarter-life vampire crisis.
She's okay,
cuts her hair.
She's I feel I've been alive for a while now. Why am I not growing up?
Yeah, I have definitely watched other people grow up.
She's like, I'm in the body of like an 8-year-old, but I am DTF, okay?
I watch the movies. I want to be a lady now.
By lady, I mean slut.
And she's really upset at Lestat because it's all Lestat's fault, you know, that it happened. So she decides she's gonna kill Lestat.
Yeah, she's mad. She is pissed off.
Super pissed. And she tricks him by drinking like dead blood, because that's apparently like a no-no. In this universe of vampires, it's a no-no. You don't do that.
Yeah, so she's like, Lestat, I got you 2 little baby boys to come bite their necks. I don't even know what to say. It's kind of creepy in a way. Like,
yeah, but
how he's lusting after these 2 like 10-year-old boys.
Okay, anyways.
For their blood.
He drains like one of them, and then he's like, whoa, and she's like, haha, I tricked you, you've got dead people blood. And then she like cuts his throat, and that's a really cool scene where he's like bleeding everywhere. There's blood pouring out of him.
And there's this really cool shot where you see it coming towards her feet, and she just keeps taking little steps back as you see the blood getting closer and closer to her feet.
Louis, pick me up.
Yeah, Louis,
like, she's a fucking vampire. Can she not, like, you know, if Lestat can, like, fly in the air, I guess she just doesn't have any...
It's like she wants to be a woman, but she uses the little child
when she
appearance when she needs it,
You're so right.
Yeah, again? Thank you.
So they think that they think that Lestat's dead. Louis and Claudia think Lestat's dead. They take him and put him in the swamp, and they want the alligators to eat him or whatever. And they start like thinking, let's get out of here. Let's go find people more like us. Like,
let's go see the world.
Sure.
Let's talk to like-minded individuals. And
and then the same night that they decide to leave, which is like a few weeks later, then Lestat comes back playing the piano, and he's upset.
He's like, I just want to play the piano and show you my skills before I try to murder you. Right? Is that what he says?
Emo. All of it.
They're all just really mad at each other all the time. Like, we're alive for eternity, and I'm mad at you.
Yeah. I need someone to be mad at for forever, so this is why I really made you.
You're my forever friend, and I'm mad.
Hashtag forever friends. So Louis lights the apartment on fire. He loves lighting things on fire.
Yeah, it's kind of a theme throughout the movie is fire.
And Louis lighting the fire.
The light and the dark and the hot and the cold, opposites.
Opposites?
Just creates that juxtaposition, that dichotomy.
Oh, I bet you know about a juxtaposition.
I know about junk. In a position, what?
My God. Okay, so Louis and Claudia, they head over to Paris, and it's like, okay, now we're in the second part of the movie.
Pre-Eiffel Tower, Paris.
So no good shots of that. And they go over there because they're trying to find vampires.
They're like, they're just searching the world.
Yep, searching the world.
Trying to find themselves.
And they found them.
Crazy thing called life.
Or afterlife. But on Earth. Yeah, they meet, or Louis meets some vampires, and...
Yeah, he meets Antonio Banderas.
Mm-hmm.
And he meets Stephen Ray.
And they are like, come to our show, because they own a theater.
Like, we just put on a show. Come see us. It's nothing, really.
And he takes Claudia to go see the show.
Like, let's go see a free show.
And then let's talk about that free show, Josh.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. The free show includes a woman being stripped on stage who's scared for her life, surrounded by these creepy demon vampire-looking people in these shiny black cloaks.
Yes.
That, like, stalk her on the stage and keep her from running off the stage. Everyone in the audience thinks it's just a farce, just part of the play.
Yeah.
But she's up there really pleading for her life.
Again, it's this like
it's
cat
really
mouse
scary
thing that they play.
And she's so vulnerable because they, like I said, strip her naked.
Yeah.
And she's standing up there knowing she's about to die. And then who enters the scene? Armand.
Antonio Banderas.
She becomes like enchanted, really. She's like,
he works as like vampire magic.
She's like Antonio Banderas with a long ass wig. I'm going for it.
Super long nails.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder where he gets his manicures.
Somewhere in Paris.
I guess. There's lots of breasts in this movie.
abreast of vampires. They go together.
Hand in hand, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and okay, so we get to see Armand kind of work his magic on her, and maybe even the audience to captivate them.
Because one person in the audience even stands up and is like, "Take me!
Yeah.
I want to be!
I want to be up there too!"
Yeah. But we're like, bitch, settle down.
They
Calm
killed
down.
this woman on stage.
Oh, it's such a creepy moment. They grab her, surround her, and she's on the ground, and they just all pile on top of her, and she's, all of a sudden vanishes under all this cloak, all these cloaks of the vampire.
Yeah.
Cloaks of the vampires. Is that a new movie coming out?
To her demise, she
she's
died.
dead. They're eating her.
Yeah.
They are eating that woman alive.
Yeah. And so they get to meet all the vampires. Claudia gets to meet all of them, and they are not too happy.
They're like, why are you so young?
Yeah,
I'm not sure how
Claudia.
I feel about this, Claudia.
Yeah. Because, unbeknownst to Louis, who, pardon me,
You nasty.
doesn't know, the rules of vampires or whatever, they tell him that, to make one so young is, unethical or whatever, which, whatever to that. But, so they don't want her around, and they're going to plot to kill her, abduct her and stuff, and...
They do.
And, yeah, in the meantime, she, tells Louis, you need to go with them, and I need to go off on my own, and she wants, Louis to create... Basically,
That's true.
a mother figure.
There is some time in between, and he creates a mom for her from this lady has it been her tutor, or I forget exactly how
she found her in a doll shop, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and she had lost a daughter,
okay.
and so she she wanted to be Claudia's.
She knew something was
mom.
up.
Yeah, and
so she lets Louis take her and create her.
And then Louis has another emo moment where he's like, "Oh my gosh, I've lost the last human part of myself."
He's like, "I'm sad again. What am I was happy for maybe a second. Now I'm sad again.
I found vampires and now I'm sad because I made a vampire." But then they do abduct her. They abduct everybody.
Her. They take Louis, they take Claudia, and they separate them, and it's this really crazy, almost cartoonish scene where they're all just gleefully running with their victims and taking them to the dungeon and taking them off to be put behind a wall in an iron casket. And they put Claudia and her mother in a big open chimney, is kind of what they call a big pit.
Yeah.
That's exposed, that the ceiling's exposed.
Yeah, so the sun's gonna come right in on them, and it does.
And it turns them into ash. So there's this awesome sculpture of ash. And you can see the hair, Claudia's hair.
Yeah. And then, when Louis finds it and he touches it, it immediately, all falls apart. It's pretty cool.
And Louis is able to find it because Armand, who's in love with him, comes and rescues him.
Yes.
Because Stephen Ray put him in the wall.
Yeah. And he's like, you know what? Those people are awful. And Louis like, yeah, they're awful. And he goes back and lights them all up on fire.
Yes. While they're all sleeping in their caskets, he I guess some kind of petroleum. I don't know what they had at that time in history.
Yeah.
But he's pouring
some kind of lighter fluid.
Yeah, he's pouring it all over, probably kerosene or something. Pouring it all under the underground. Well, the cool thing we left out a really awesome detail, is the production design of the theater. And there's this underground layer. The theater's kind of up on top, but you still have to go downstairs to it. It's still sunken. And then under the theater is where all the vampires are. And
it's like a crypt.
Yeah, this weird crypt that's has all these, I guess, best way.
Honeycomb.
Yeah, honeycomb.
Yeah.
Like a catacomb.
Yeah.
There's bones and lights, and just the production design overall is really fantastic.
Yes, for sure.
And creepy and original. I've never seen really anything quite like it.
Well, and then kind of just to sum things up, so Louis gets his revenge on them. Yeah, he kills them all.
He pours that lighter fluid all over their little lair. I don't know what else to call it. It's not quite a dungeon because they're willingly under there, but it's
just where basically they don't have to be sunlight. They're kind of guaranteed to not have to deal with that.
And it's secret. It's
Yeah.
The rest of Paris probably doesn't know about it.
And he breaks it open till finally sunlight comes in and it gets them. And Armand saves Louis again in some carriage.
Yeah, he summons this like weird death carriage. It's all black horses and black, and he has his little child slave. What would you call it?
Yeah, kind of like the
child slave driving the carriage.
Yeah. He's like a kid that like.
Do you call it driving when it's a carriage?
He just bites on that kid. He never kills him or whatever. Yeah, I bet you that's also like he has like a trance thing on that kid or something. Anyways, again, we're gonna sum it up. Louis is like, you know what? I'm out all around. I'm going back to New Orleans.
He's like, I liked my solidarity in New Orleans better than all these freak vampires here in Paris that just keep wanting to put on shows.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of theater geeks.
I've basically learned that like vampires have no moral code and they just do what they want, and I'm not down for that.
He's like, they pretend to have a code, you know, a code of ethics or whatever, morals, and he's like, but you didn't like me because you thought I killed a kid, but then you went and killed Claudia.
Yeah. You didn't even find out the history behind her before you had to get rid of her.
You're like, oh, you heard she killed Lestat.
Yes.
And so
it's like, you don't even know the whole story.
Lestat's really alive.
Vampire group.
Well, like vampire alive, whatever you call that. What do you call it? Is that what you call it? He's vampire alive.
Yeah, he's vampire alive. I like that.
He's not vampire dead.
No,
he's vampire alive.
You heard correctly. He's vampire alive.
Hashtag vampire alive.
So Louis goes back to America, goes back to New Orleans, and now we're like in present day.
Yeah, 90s.
Yeah.
Or he says it's 1988.
Yeah. And that's right, he does say it's 1988. And he finds Lestat one last time in like some abandoned plantation home.
It's like a twisted epic romance. They're going to come back together one last time to say they can't be together.
Yeah. That they're just not good for each other in the long run. And they leave it at that, and he just like, I guess, moves to San Francisco, and it ends there. Like, he ends his story.
Yeah, Louis like, I hear there's a big gay scene in San Francisco. I guess that's where I'll go.
That's funny. You're so funny.
Well, it's true.
Well, yeah, I know. I just never made that connection. Okay. Anyways, yeah, he goes to San Francisco, and so it's like we've come full circle.
Yep.
We're ending at the beginning.
He's like, so they're Christian Slater, not Christian Bale.
There's my story.
What do you think of my story?
And Christian Slater's like...
He's like, I'll move real fast for you again.
Christian Slater's like, let me move real fast.
He's like, after that story that I just recorded on tape, I really believe everything you've said. You've moved fast, and you told me a 2-hour story.
So I think you're a vampire, and I want you to make me into one, too. And Louis like...
Bite me, Louis.
Louis basically like, you're not my type.
Yeah. He like roughs him up a bit. He's like, this is not what you really want.
Nope. And he leaves.
He's like, 2 bottoms don't make a top, okay? He said to Christian Slater.
Yeah, and Christian Slater's like, whatever. Yeah, Louis like disappears. Like after he kind of roughs him up, he like disappears, and Christian Slater's like, okay, I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, he's like, whatever.
Gets in his car and immediately like turns on the tape that he just recorded of
He's like,
Louis.
And since I'm in San Francisco, I'm going to need to drive over the Golden Gate Bridge.
Put the top down.
Yeah.
In my red Corvette or whatever. And it ends on like a funny note. Lestat shows up in the interviewer's car, in Christian Slater's car.
It is pretty comical.
And is like, I've been listening to him for like, 100 years or whatever. I don't want to listen to him anymore. Like takes the tape out and then it's like, haha, now I'm going to bite you.
Yeah, he's like, now I'm going to kill you. So, on the Golden Gate Bridge.
It ends on a funny note, but it's horrific.
Yeah, the movie's very dramatic, very lavish.
Yes.
Very, kind of has an epic scope in a way.
Oh, so much decadence.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
They make it seem like being a vampire is...
everything.
Is like, what you should aspire to be or something.
Yeah. I'm like, let's stop. Make me a vampire.
Let me show you. Are a killer, Louis. You are a killer, Louis. You are a killer. Don't you ever forget it.
No, I'm not a killer. I'm just sad.
And then Tangina comes from. It's like, no, Louis. Do not take the bat. Do not take the bat.
Get away from Lestat.
I had to bring her into this.
We might have to bring Tangina back every episode.
I have to show up after that.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go back and listen to episode 8.
Absolutely.
How about that?
But, so let's just kind of wrap things up. We'll come back later after we've experienced New Orleans.
Sad vampires, homoeroticism, lots of cool costumes, lots of blood.
Absolutely. It's bathed in blood, the whole movie.
People flying, old ladies getting bit, and their dog. We didn't talk about the poodles.
No. We couldn't touch on everything. Maybe we'll touch on it.
Yeah, we can't touch on it.
In the next half when we come back.
You kill some poodles.
We're definitely going to try to find some of the places that were either where they filmed or referenced to in the movie.
We'll be in the French Quarter. There's lots of scenes in the French Quarter. We'll be down by the Mississippi River. You know, that scene in the movie. So and we're going to see if we can find even some more specific locale.
Or if we could just find a vampire.
Yeah, maybe we should just go out there and plead for Lestat.
Lestat specifically.
Lestat! Come to me, Lestat!
But we are so excited.
I know, I'm really excited.
To head down there.
No, we're not just excited. We are really
so excited!
I'm so scared.
I think we've already made that reference before. We like Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, we like that episode of Saved by the Bell, apparently.
Okay, well, thanks for listening, and we'll be back super soon.
Yeah, like in 2 seconds.
Yeah, for you guys it'll be 2 seconds, but actually we've got some hours to go.
We have a lot more driving.
Appreciate ya.
Love you. We'll see you in just a minute.
Peace.
Hello and welcome back, Scream Queeners.
Hi.
Well, good morning.
Yes, it is morning.
It is morning. We are now in Mississippi.
Yes.
We left New Orleans. We had a fantastic, wonderful night.
Little adventure.
In New Orleans. One of the best cities in the world. I love it. You love it. We all love it.
Yes.
Hashtag NOLA.
Yeah, oh gosh, okay. Hashtag NOLA. Yeah, so we were there. We stayed in the French Quarter.
Yep, stayed at a really cool hotel that we love called the French Market Inn.
I would recommend it.
Oh yeah,
it had a wonderful bathroom. I can't stop talking about the bathroom.
Wonderful location.
Yes.
Fabulous interior and exterior.
Yes, it's like it's located just like on the street that you can see like the Mississippi on.
Yeah, you're right in the French Quarter. You're down the street from Cafe Du Monde that yes of course we went to.
I had a beignet.
And it had beignet. We had just a night of like wonderful food, good drinks, and beignets and
some cafe au lait.
Cafe au lait. And we strolled down the Mississippi River. We got to see, you know.
They have a wonderful little park that like is right on like a pier.
Yeah,
and
it was really. We always love taking a walk around the Mississippi, the mighty Mississippi.
The mighty Mississippi. But
M-I-S, M-I, crooked letter I, crooked letter I, humpback I. Isn't that how you learned to spell it too?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know that little rhyme you were doing.
Well, we had to do it at least once.
But yeah, the Mississippi was pretty quiet last night, though. It wasn't.
And New Orleans altogether was pretty quiet. Even Cafe Du Monde on a random Wednesday night, last night of November when we were there, it was pretty quiet.
It's quiet uptown. Okay, so let's get back into what we was chatting about earlier, which happened to be
interview with the vampire.
With the vampire. The vampire.
People want to say a vampire, but not just like, any vampire.
Please, that's not even the title.
It's the vampire.
The vampire. So, Josh, what did you think? Tell me all about it.
Well, I like this movie.
Okay.
That's it. End of story.
Okay, thanks. All right. My thoughts
that's my insight. No, I think Anne Rice did a really good job adapting her screenplay.
Yeah.
I think Neil Jordan did a great job casting and directing the movie. I like the atmosphere. I think it's really moody, really creepy.
Yeah, that ambiance that they created.
The ambiance.
The ambiance.
Yeah, I like the movie. I think it's really well made.
Yes.
And I've watched it many times. It's pretty watchable, still watchable.
Yes, yeah.
Because it's not, really campy. I mean, maybe now looking back, like with Sad Louie, how Louie's always so sad. Maybe that's a little campy. I don't know. But I think that's also just the character. I don't think that's what they were going for necessarily.
Well, and Brad Pitt didn't necessarily enjoy making this movie, apparently. That's what it was rumored, that he just really wasn't enjoying all of it, having to hang upside down every morning and get his makeup done.
I wouldn't enjoy that either.
Apparently Tom Cruise is kind of showing him up a lot and being kind of a jerk on set to him, so
see, my body thetans are helping me.
Yeah, he was just trying to sell him on Scientology.
I don't have to hang upside down.
Oh, my body thetans give me the veins, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I like this movie a lot. It's pretty, and it's it's from the point of view of vampires. They mention in the commentary how that hadn't really been done yet. The whole, what's the point of view of vampires? So, what do they think of being a vampire?
Yeah. And I get it. I know we're making fun of Louis for being sad, but maybe I'd probably be sad too if I had to eat people and I lived for eternity.
If I was kind of tricked into this life.
Was watching people die and death all around me.
Yeah, it would be fascinating for a moment, and then I think if you don't have a taste for murder, then having to do that just to survive is probably.
And I think the special effects still hold up. They look really good.
Yeah.
You can tell some are practical. There's some, early CGI work in there. This movie's 1994, so some of it doesn't look perfect, but I think overall it looks really cool, especially when they're flying around and all the blood.
Yeah. And even the backdrops that they would create, and on the Mississippi, adding in all of the ships, because it would have been bustling in that age with steamboats,
cargo
and sail ships and stuff.
Yeah.
So for sure, I enjoy this movie. It is horrific.
Yeah, there's some scenes, especially that are very bloody, very vulnerable.
Yeah,
you really feel bad for some characters.
Some characters that are just coming up to help, who they think might be a poor child.
But they had to die.
Crying,
The vampires have to eat.
I know. You keep telling me this.
Survival of the fittest.
And I do, Tom Cruise did do a wonderful job as Lestat. You think Lestat's an asshole and kind of badass at the same time.
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
And he's comical.
I like Tom Cruise in this movie. He's pretty funny.
He's light, and then you have Brad Pitt that's
sadness,
dark, gloomy. I mean, I'm sure, he became a vampire. He was wait, hold on. The opposite is what I wanted to happen. I wanted to die. I didn't want to live anymore because my family was gone, and now I live forever.
Yeah, there's that cool juxtaposition of them. One's really sad, the other's really into it and just trying to have a ball with it. That's pretty fun to watch.
I enjoy Christian Slater, and the role that he plays.
Yeah, he kind of bookends the movie nicely.
Yeah. He goes from not believing to completely believing this out. I mean, it's a crazy story to hear, and he's okay, and now I want to do it. I heard about how sad your life has been, and I choose that.
You moved really fast, so you're a vampire.
You did a little magic trick.
It's pretty much what it comes down to.
And I want to do that magic trick too.
Yeah. So, your favorite scene, Miss Justine?
Oh, okay. Oh, so we're going there. We're already there. They're at that point. Okay, I like the slave revolt scene and kind of everything in all that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I do love the voodoo dance that they do, and how it looks. It's very pretty. It's at night, and the fire that's roaring out there as they're doing voodoo magic, and
that's a good example of the special effects we were just talking about, especially all the pyrotechnics and all the fire.
It was really interesting. And then when lighting the house on fire and it just looks
come out of his shell a little bit when they go to New Orleans after that.
Yeah. He has just like this realization almost that like, yes, I am a killer. And I gotta get out of here. I gotta leave all this behind. I mean, Lestat's pretty pissed. And he like comes in, you know, like a nagging wife.
What are you
Why
doing?
the hell did you do this? You ruined it all. And for some reason he's like,
you ruined everything.
Yeah. Look, we had all this nice curtains, and you light the curtains on fire. Oh goodness. And then Tangina comes in. Stay away from the curtains. Don't go towards the curtains. Anyways.
Oh, good old Tangina.
She's gonna just pop in every now and then. Yeah, I do really like that scene, and Tandy Newton, she's like good sprinkled in, and
yeah, she's so sad too.
I know. She like not even gonna touch on like the whole slave master thing.
Yeah,
the idea that she like
terrible.
Yeah, but how she's like, you know, we're even scared of you.
Yeah.
Like, and she just kind of sells it, and then Louis gets a little frustrated and, well, kills her, so.
Yeah.
But thanks, Tandy Newton. You were awesome in it. All right, what about you?
My favorite scenes, I really like, it's hard for me to pick exactly which one, but I love the scenes at the end when they're in Paris. I love, when they get separated and Claudia dies, when he gets put in the wall.
That abduction scene.
Especially when in the moment when they're being abducted, everyone's laughing and they're like gleefully, you know, ready to like murder these people and kill them, and they're just happy about it. And there's something about like even the music's all like happy and they're giggling into the camera.
Yeah.
And also the scene on the stage when the girl gets killed.
Yeah. In the theater,
in the theater in front of everybody. I think that scene's probably one of the more like truly terrifying. It scared me to the core.
Yeah, because as the audience, you know everything that's going on. You know that they're vampires for real, and that person's dying. But to be a person in the audience that you know, in that theater that just thinks it's all smoke and mirrors.
And good cinema will put you in the place of that character. So in that moment, I'm like, oh, what if I was up there surrounded by like crazy, scary vampires and people were watching me and thought it was all just part of an act.
Yeah,
you know?
And I, for some reason, can't bring myself to resist much.
Yeah.
You know, when Armand shows up, she really just
lets
kind of accepts, like, okay, I guess I'm gonna get eaten.
She was very submissive to him and just like, oh yes, Armand, and then she gets eaten by the group. She just gets covered and devoured by them.
There's like a shot where the camera's up on top and
just an overhead shot.
An overhead shot, and it's like just everybody in these black hooded figures swarm in on her.
And you're just like, oh, you can't even see her anymore. And you know they're just eating her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore. I don't want to be eaten by a bunch of vampires.
Well, yeah, I don't think anybody does.
Oh, okay, good.
Well, we had so much fun in New Orleans.
Oh, it was a blast. We started the evening off. We got there. It took forever to get there. Traffic was bad, of course, going into New Orleans. And once we got there, we decided first thing we got to do is get some food in our belly. And so we went to a restaurant we had been before that is so yummy. It's called, you pronounce it, what's it called?
Chartres, I think.
Chartres. Chartres, yeah. And bomb food.
Yeah, we had Bodine for the first time, I think.
Bodine.
We asked the waiter, the server, like, how to pronounce it. He was just kind of like, what? He was like, oh, it's just kind of like whatever. Bodine. Yeah. I've heard it all. And we were like, but what is it called?
Yeah, but which one is it?
Didn't say anything. So, yeah.
What are the locals called?
And I had some red beans and rice. It was phenomenal. It's one of my fave dishes when I come to New Orleans.
I had the taste of New Orleans. Had a little bit of red beans and rice, some gumbo, some jambalaya. What else do I have?
Etouffee.
Etouffee. I like just saying it. Etouffee.
Yes.
It was delicious.
It was wonderful. And we just kind of like, cruised around and looked at things. And
went to the river like we said. Walked around Royal Street, where some of the homes inspired Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah, a lot of that area. We got a real feel for the movie, and it made me feel like we'd come full circle.
We were walking around going, Lestat.
Yeah, we kept calling him, but just homeless people showed up. Like, they were guests.
We're like, oh, everybody here is Lestat.
So, and then on our way back from Florida, we're gonna stay there one more night, and so we'll
have some more adventures.
For sure. How about let's wrap this up and give a Knives rating, Josh?
Gosh, I've been really wrestling with what to rate this movie because I love it, but at the same time, I just don't know what to rate. I'm like, I think I'm being so boring. I always give everything like a high score, but I'm gonna go with 4 knives.
Okay, all right. That's exactly what I was going to give it. Was 4 knives. And I mean, it is a good movie, and it's not a slasher by any means. It's not it's horror, but in a more
it's pretty thoughtful. It's like thoughtful,
philosophical
horror.
way.
Yeah.
It's
like, what's the meaning of vampire life?
Yeah. So it means that I had to like grade it in a different way.
Yeah.
So even though it is still really good, and the storytelling is it's
definitely one of the best vampire movies, and it's definitely better than like the Twilight series if we're gonna compare sagas, you know.
Yeah, we don't need to.
We don't need to. But it did start kind of like the sad vampire trend. But maybe vampires have always been sad. They've always been isolated and alone.
Well, I think maybe when you're telling the story from the vampire point of view, it's a little sad, different. Melancholy and stuff. And then when you tell it from the human point of view, it's scary.
Yeah.
So, well, we had a lot of fun. We've got a lot more driving to do.
And we're actually going to be recording episode 10 just here in a few hours. We're heading to Disney, and we're going to do a Christmas episode, Black Christmas.
Yeah. You're getting 2 in 1 month.
We're going to go to the happiest place on earth and talk about Black Christmas. But we're going to be doing a lot of fun Christmas stuff at Disney World. So we thought that would be kind of fun to do light and dark Christmas. You know, the yin and yang of Christmas. So we will be back shortly.
Thank you so much for always listening.
Yep, 2 episodes this month coming up. We're recording back to back. We're just recording. We're just recording fools.
All right.
I
would agree.
We will see you soon. Bye.
Thank you